First Contact Protocol. Admiral Nira stood at the observation deck of the celestial seeker, her iridescent scales shifting colors with each measured breath. In her 3 centuries of serving the Galactic Council's Exploration Division, she had never encountered anything quite like this. "Magnify the image," she commanded, her crystalline voice resonating through the bridge. The holographic display expanded, revealing a vessel that defied all Council shipbuilding conventions. Unlike the sweeping, elegant lines of Council ships, this craft was angular and purposeful, its dark hull bristling with what were unmistakably weapon systems. "Status report," Nira ordered, maintaining her composure despite the growing unease in her secondary heart. First Officer Talon, his feathered crest rippling with concentration, reviewed the sensor data. "The vessel appears to be powered by controlled fusion, Admiral. Primitive by our standards, but—" He paused, double-checking his readings. "They're achieving 94% efficiency. That shouldn't be possible with their level of technology." Continue. "Hull composition suggests multiple layers of advanced alloys and ceramic composites. No energy shielding, but the armor thickness." Talon's voice trailed off. "Admiral, they'd built a fortress that flies." Nira moved closer to the hologram, studying the vessel's profile. Life signs. 327 beings, all showing signs of evolution in a high-gravity environment. Dense musculature, reinforced skeletal structure. Talon's wing fingers tapped across his console. "They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies, but it's not like any communication protocol we've encountered." The situation challenged everything the Council believed about technological progression. Species weren't supposed to achieve faster-than-light travel while still maintaining military capabilities. It went against 10,000 years of documented advancement patterns. "Admiral," called out Sensor Officer Lumi, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with urgency, "we're detecting power fluctuations from the vessel." They're running weapon system diagnostics." The bridge crew tensed, but Nira raised a calming hand. "Observe their patterns. Are they targeting us?" "No, Admiral. It appears to be a scheduled maintenance routine. They're methodically testing each system, then powering it down. The level of organization is impressive." Nira found herself torn between professional concern and intellectual fascination. The unknown vessel's mere existence represented a paradigm shift in Council doctrine. They had always assumed that technological advancement naturally led to the abandonment of military capability. This ship proved otherwise. "Can we translate their markings?" she asked, gesturing to the bold characters emblazoned on the vessel's hull. Lumi adjusted her sensors. "Processing now." "Yes, Admiral." In their language, it reads UES Perseus. There's a smaller inscription below. "Through strength, peace prevails." The contradiction was striking. A warship named after an ancient warrior hero, bearing a motto that paired military might with peaceful intentions. What kind of species could hold such opposing concepts in harmony? "Send a priority message to Council Command," Nira ordered. "Unknown vessel detected in Sector 7. Design indicates significant military capabilities combined with advanced engineering. Request immediate diplomatic consultation. Market Priority Alpha." As the message was transmitted, Nira continued to study the Perseus. Its movement patterns suggested both military discipline and scientific curiosity. The vessel would advance methodically, deploy sensor drones, collect data, then move to its next observation point. Everything about it spoke of careful planning and purposeful design. "Admiral," Talon reported, "Council Command acknowledges. They're convening an emergency session. We're ordered to maintain observation, but avoid direct contact until the diplomatic corps arrives." Nira nodded, her scales shifting to a deeper blue of contemplation. In all her years of service, she had never encountered a species that reached for the stars while maintaining such obvious military readiness. The next few days would either mark a fundamental shift in galactic civilization or the beginning of a new era of uncertainty. As she watched the Perseus continue its methodical patrol, Naira couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change forever. The question was, would this change bring new understanding, or had they just discovered a potential threat to 10 millennia of peace? Log a personal notation, she commanded softly. Today we may have encountered not just a new species, but a new philosophy. The Perseus challenges our most basic assumptions about civilization and progress. Perhaps we have something to learn from these humans. The bridge crew continued their observations in thoughtful silence, each contemplating the implications of their discovery. The age of comfortable certainty in the galaxy was over. The humans had arrived. The diplomatic dance. Captain James Harrison stood at the Perseus's command center, watching the approaching council vessels with measured interest. Their ships were works of art, sweeping crystalline structures that caught and refracted starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Yet his tactical training couldn't help but notice their complete lack of defensive capabilities. "Status report," he called out, keeping his voice steady for his crew's benefit. Lieutenant Reena Patel looked up from her sensor station. "4 council vessels approaching, Captain. Power signatures are massive. But," she paused, double-checking her readings, "none of it seems to be allocated to weapons or shielding systems." Harrison nodded. First contact, the moment humanity had prepared for since detecting alien signals 5 years ago. The Perseus was their response to that discovery, Earth's first and only deep space warship, built through an unprecedented collaboration of global powers. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Communications Officer Marcus Wong reported. "The translation matrix is processing now." The bridge speakers came alive with an ethereal, musical language. The Perseus's AI worked quickly, finding patterns and building understanding. Within minutes, words began forming from the melodic sounds. "Greetings, unknown vessel. This is High Speaker Lyra of the Galactic Council Diplomatic Court. We come in peace and fellowship." Harrison straightened his uniform. "This is Captain James Harrison of the UES Perseus. We return your peaceful greeting and request permission to establish visual communications." There was a brief pause before the main view screen illuminated. Harrison found himself facing beings that seemed both alien and familiar. High Speaker Lyra had iridescent scales that shifted colors with her movements, while her companions displayed various evolutionary paths, some with feathers, others with crystalline features. "Captain Harrison," Lyra spoke, her translator converting her musical tones to English. "Your vessel, it bears significant armaments. This is unexpected. The Perseus is humanity's first deep space vessel," Harrison explained carefully. "We built her with defensive capabilities because we couldn't be certain what we'd encounter among the stars." The diplomatic team exchanged glances. "You prepared for war before knowing we existed." "We prepared for all possibilities," Harrison corrected. "On Earth, we have a saying: hope for the best, prepare for the worst. The Perseus carries weapons, yes, but she also carries scientists, diplomats, and cultural experts. Our mission is peaceful exploration and contact." "Yet you maintain military readiness," another diplomat observed, his crystalline features refracting light as he moved. "This suggests a fundamental distrust of the unknown." Harrison considered his next words carefully. "With respect, where we come from, maintaining peace often requires the ability to defend it. But you'll notice we haven't made any aggressive moves. We're prepared, not hostile." The diplomats conferred among themselves, their musical language carrying tones of concern and fascination. Harrison used the moment to study their ships more carefully. The technology gap was obvious. Their vessels were far more advanced than the Perseus, yet they seemed genuinely unsettled by his ship's mere existence. "We propose a cultural exchange," Lyra finally said. "There is much we could learn from each other. However," she paused, her scales shifting to a deeper hue, "our protocols for first contact may need adjustment, given your unique situation." "We would welcome that exchange," Harrison replied. Perhaps we could start by sharing information about our respective societies. Knowledge is the foundation of understanding. Lyra's scales shifted to what Harrison hoped was a more positive color. Agreed, though I must inform you, Captain, that your vessel's existence will cause quite a stir in the council chambers. Change often does, Harrison said diplomatically, but that doesn't make it unwelcome. As the initial contact continued, Harrison felt a growing sense of optimism. They had trained for countless scenarios, but the reality was proving more interesting than any simulation. Humanity's first step into the galactic community would be remembered not for conflict, but for teaching an advanced civilization a lesson about the complexity of peace. Lieutenant Patel, he said quietly, make a note in the ship's log. Today we didn't just make first contact. We began a dialogue that might bridge the gap between two very different philosophies of civilization. The Perseus continued its orbital position, a symbol of humanity's unique approach to the stars. Ready for war but hoping for peace, prepared for the worst but working for the best. In the coming days, both humanity and the Council would learn that true wisdom sometimes comes from the most unexpected sources. Captain James Harrison of the Perseus attempts to navigate first contact while dealing with the Council's shock at human military advancement, showcasing humanity's unique perspective on peace through strength. Cultural crossroads. Engineer Raven Martinez wiped her brow as she studied the holographic display in the Council's engineering center. The crystalline walls pulsed with soft light, a stark contrast to the utilitarian design of the Perseus's engine room. Beside her, Council scientists Zephyr's bioluminescent patterns flickered with excitement as they reviewed the combined technological schematics. Your fusion containment design is fascinating, Zephyr said, his translator struggling to convey his enthusiasm. So primitive, yet so elegant. You've achieved efficiency levels we thought impossible without quantum stabilization. Sometimes limitations breed innovation, Raven replied, gesturing to the Perseus's engine core schematic. We couldn't rely on theoretical physics we hadn't discovered yet, so we perfected what we had. The past week had been a crash course in cultural exchange. While the diplomats debated philosophy in the council chambers, Raven and Zephyr had been tasked with understanding each other's technological approaches. The results were surprising both sides. But your defensive systems, Zephyr continued, his patterns shifting to a questioning purple. They seem so aggressive. Kinetic weapons, missile systems, point defense arrays. We abandoned such technologies millennia ago. Raven brought up the tactical systems display. They're defensive by design. Zephyr, look at the coverage patterns, overlapping fields of fire, redundant systems, layered defenses. Everything about the Perseus is about survival, not conquest. Yet you built her before knowing what threats existed out here. Exactly because we didn't know. Raven pulled up historical files from Earth. Humanity learned the hard way that peace isn't just about good intentions. Sometimes you need the strength to protect it. Zephyr's patterns dimmed thoughtfully. Show me your power distribution system again. The way you've integrated weapons and scientific equipment, it's unorthodox. As they delved deeper into the technical analysis, alarms suddenly blared through the engineering center. Both Raven and Zephyr turned to the main display as emergency notifications flooded in. Signal from the outer colonies, Zephyr translated quickly, his patterns flashing with concern. A council science station. It's under attack. The display showed a remote research facility, its elegant architecture marred by weapons fire. 3 ships of unknown design were systematically breaking through its minimal defenses. Those aren't council ships, Raven observed, her tactical training kicking in. The design philosophy is completely different, more aggressive, like pirates, Zephyr confirmed, his patterns now a troubled red. We've had scattered reports, but nothing this bold. They're targeting our quantum research facility. Raven's fingers flew across the interface, analyzing the attacker's capabilities. Their weapons are modified council technology, energy-based, but more focused, more lethal. They've taken your peaceful designs and weaponized them. The facility's defenses are failing, Zephyr reported, his voice tight. We have to do something. The Perseus could reach them in time, Raven calculated quickly. Our kinetic weapons would be perfect against their energy shields. They won't be calibrated for physical impacts. But the Council hasn't approved military action. The diplomatic protocols. People are dying, Zephyr, Raven cut in. Sometimes protocols need to bend before they break. Help me make the case to your leaders. The next hour was a blur of activity. Raven and Zephyr presented their analysis to an emergency council session, arguing that the Perseus's unique capabilities made it the ideal response to this threat. Captain Harrison's voice joined the debate via comlink, offering his ship's assistance while carefully respecting council authority. Finally, faced with the imminent loss of their research facility, the council gave its approval. The Perseus jumped to faster than light, arriving just as the facility's last defenses were failing. What followed was a tactical demonstration that left both pirates and council observers stunned. The Perseus's kinetic weapons tore through the pirates' energy shields like paper, while its point defense systems neutralized their energy weapons with practiced efficiency. Within minutes, 2 pirate ships were disabled, and the third fled into deep space. As rescue operations began, Raven and Zephyr watched the aftermath from the engineering center. The council facility was damaged but saved, along with its personnel and vital research data. Your ship, Zephyr said quietly, his patterns showing complex emotions. It's not just about the technology, is it? It's about the philosophy behind it. The willingness to act, to protect. Strength isn't just about having weapons, Raven agreed. It's about knowing when to use them. And more importantly, what for. The Perseus isn't a warship because we love war. She's a warship because we love peace enough to defend it. As they turned back to their technical analysis, both knew that something fundamental had changed. The Council had seen firsthand that peace sometimes needed guardians, and that humanity's approach to space exploration, while different, might have wisdom of its own to offer. We should look at integrating some of your defensive designs into Council ships, Zephyr suggested, his patterns now showing determination. Not to start wars, but to prevent them. Raven smiled. And we could definitely learn from your quantum engineering. Together, we might create something new. Technology that protects and explores, defends, and discovers. The Perseus's intervention had done more than save a research station. It had begun bridging the philosophical gap between 2 civilizations, proving that different approaches to peace could coexist and even strengthen each other. The integration of human military expertise with Council technology, as engineer Raven Martinez works with Council scientist Zephyr to bridge the gap between their civilizations. Hidden threats. The Council's Emergency Operations Center hummed with activity as Admiral Nera studied the tactical hologram. Her scales darkened with concern. The map showed a disturbing pattern. Dozens of pirate attacks over the past month, each more brazen than the last. They're testing our defenses, Captain Harrison observed, standing beside her. The Perseus's intervention at the research facility had earned him a place in these strategic sessions. Each attack probes a different aspect of Council security. Agreed. Naira replied, her crystalline voice tight with worry. But why now? The Outer Rim pirates have never been this coordinated. Lieutenant Patel, working with Council analysts at a nearby station, looked up from her display. Captain, Admiral, we've decoded more of the data from the captured pirate vessels. You need to see this. The hologram shifted, showing intercepted communications and fleet movements. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. It's not just raids, Harrison said quietly. This is reconnaissance for a full-scale invasion. Naira's scales shifted to a troubled gray. According to these numbers, they've assembled over 400 ships. But how? Where did they get the resources? They've been salvaging and modifying Council technology, Zephyr explained, his bioluminescent patterns pulsing with agitation. He and Raven had been working around the clock to understand the pirates' capabilities, taking our peaceful designs and weaponizing them. Each raid provided more materials, more data. Raven stepped forward, highlighting specific technical details. They found ways to overcome the efficiency limiters in Council energy systems. The weapons they're creating are devastating. All the advanced technology of the Council, but turned toward pure destruction. The Council has maintained peace for 10,000 years, High Speaker Lyra said from her position at the command table. Our ships aren't designed for war. Against a fleet of this size, modified with weaponized versions of our own technology. You're not alone anymore, Harrison stated firmly. Earth stands with you. The Perseus has already proven that our different approach to space exploration has value. One ship against 400, another council member questioned. The Perseus is formidable, but not just the Perseus, Harrison interrupted, nodding to Lieutenant Patel. She brought up a new set of data, shipyard specifications, production schedules, defensive systems. Since we joined the Council, we've been sharing our defensive technologies with your engineers. Humanity's shipyards have been working at full capacity, upgrading Council vessels with hybrid defense systems. Raven highlighted the modifications. We've integrated our kinetic weapon designs with Council energy technology, added armor plating, point defense systems, tactical sensor arrays. 20 Council ships have already been converted, with more in progress. And the crews? Naira asked. Our people have no combat experience. Joint training programs are underway, Harrison explained. Human tactical officers serving alongside Council crews, teaching combat maneuvers, emergency protocols, defensive operations. We're not turning you into warriors. We're giving you the tools and knowledge to protect yourselves. The room erupted in discussion, but was silenced by an urgent alert. A new hologram appeared, long-range scans showing massive fleet movements in the outer rim. They're moving earlier than expected, Paddle reported tensely. The pirate fleet is mobilizing. At their current speed, they'll reach the core worlds in 72 hours. Naira's scales shifted to battle-ready bronze, a color Harrison had never seen before. Then we have 72 hours to prepare our defense. Captain Harrison, humanity has shown us that peace sometimes requires guardians. Will you help us become those guardians? Harrison straightened. The Perseus and her crew are at your disposal, Admiral. We'll show these pirates that the Council isn't as defenseless as they thought. Begin fleet-wide combat preparations, Naira ordered. Implement the hybrid defense protocols. Deploy the upgraded vessels in strategic positions. And, she paused, her scales showing fierce determination. Send word to Earth. Tell them the Council formally requests military assistance under our Mutual Defense Treaty. As the Emergency Operations Center transformed into a war room, Harrison reflected on the irony. Humanity had built the Perseus, hoping they'd never need her weapons, yet those same weapons had not only forged an alliance, but were now helping protect 10,000 years of peace. The next 72 hours would determine whether the Council's dream of peaceful coexistence could survive in a galaxy that wasn't always peaceful. But they wouldn't face that challenge alone. Together, humanity's strength and the Council's wisdom might just be enough to protect everything both civilizations held dear. The discovery of the Shadowclaw pirates' impending invasion of Council space, forcing both species to confront their different approaches to security and defense. Unity through adversity. The battle for the core worlds began at dawn, measured by the light of the Council's central star. The Perseus led a combined fleet of 30 vessels. Council ships upgraded with human defensive technology, their elegant lines now augmented with armor plating and weapon systems. They formed a defensive line at the edge of the Sanctuary Nebula, the last natural barrier before the heart of Council space. Captain Harrison stood on the Perseus's bridge, watching the tactical display as the pirate fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel. Their ships were dark perversions of Council designs, peaceful technology twisted into weapons of war. All ships, battle positions, Admiral Naira's voice came through clear on the command channel. She commanded from the flagship Luminous Dawn, once a diplomatic vessel, now armed with both Council energy weapons and human kinetic systems. Remember your training. We fight not for glory, but for peace. Pirate fleet holding at extreme range, Lieutenant Puddle reported. They're scanning our defenses. They're hailing us. Put it through, Harrison ordered. The pirate leader's face appeared on the main screen, scared and sneering. This is your last chance, Council weaklings. Surrender your worlds, and we might let some of you live as slaves. This is Admiral Naira of the Combined Defense Fleet. We reject your terms. The Council's peace will not be broken by those who understand only violence. The pirate's laugh was harsh. Peace. Look at your ships now. Admiral, you've armed yourselves. Added human weapons to your pretty vessels. You've already lost your precious peace. You're wrong, Harrison cut in. They've learned to protect it. There's a difference. Then die protecting it. The transmission cut off as the pirate fleet surged forward. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations in both human and Council space. The pirates, expecting to face traditional Council defenses, were unprepared for the hybrid tactics of the combined fleet. Council energy weapons created gaps in pirate shields that human kinetic weapons exploited. The Perseus's battle-tested crew coordinated with Council ships, turning their superior maneuverability into tactical advantages. Squadron 3, concentrate fire on their flagship's port section, Harrison commanded. Their shields are weakening. Raven, status. From engineering, Raven's voice was tense but confident. The hybrid systems are performing above expectations, Captain. Council quantum tech is amplifying our weapon efficiency by 30%. Beside her, Zephyr monitored the energy flows, his patterns showing focused determination. Together, they had created something new. Technology that preserved Council's sophistication while incorporating human pragmatism. The battle raged for hours. The pirates' superior numbers were matched against the defenders' superior tactics and technology. Ships fell on both sides, but the combined fleet held its ground, protecting the core worlds behind them. Admiral, Harrison called out as they pressed their advantage. Their formation is breaking. They didn't expect this level of resistance. Naira's scales showed fierce pride through the video link. All ships, advance. Show them that peace doesn't mean weakness. The pirate fleet began to fragment as their losses mounted. Their modified weapons, while powerful, couldn't overcome the coordinated defense. One by one, their ships were disabled or destroyed, until finally, their remaining vessels flowed back into deep space. In the battle's aftermath, as rescue operations began, Harrison joined Admiral Naira and High Speaker Lyra on the Council's orbital command station. Through the viewport, they could see repair crews at work, humans and Council members working side by side to rebuild. The Council owes humanity a great debt, Lyra said, her scales shimmering with gratitude. You've shown us that maintaining peace sometimes requires the strength to defend it. And you've shown us that strength doesn't diminish peace, Harrison replied. Together, we've created something unprecedented, a way to protect civilization while staying true to its highest ideals. This is only the beginning, Naira added, her scales shifting to hopeful blue. The pirates will return, or other threats will emerge. But now we face them together, combining humanity's resolve with Council wisdom. As if to emphasize her words, the Perseus glided past the viewport, its powerful form now a symbol not of war, but of partnership. Behind it, a Council ship displayed its new hybrid systems proudly. Elegant and strong, peaceful yet prepared. Perhaps this is the true peace, Lyra mused, not the absence of conflict, but the wisdom to prevent it, the strength to face it when necessary, and the unity to overcome it together. Harrison smiled as he watched their combined fleet patrol the starlit void. Humanity had reached for the stars hoping to find friendship but prepared for danger. They had found both, and in doing so, helped forge a new understanding of what peace truly meant. The Perseus's mission had evolved far beyond its original purpose. It had become a bridge between two philosophies, proving that peace and strength could coexist, that wisdom and preparedness could work hand in hand. As human and council ships continued their joint patrols, they carried with them a profound truth. True peace wasn't just the absence of conflict, but the presence of understanding, cooperation, and the shared will to protect all they held dear. The combined human council response to the Shadow Claw threat, proving that true peace requires both wisdom and the strength to defend it.